So now that we have a player that can move around, we can start adding some one-way trigger platforms. And by one-way trigger, I mean the fact that you can walk in front of a platform and then jump up and stand on top of it, or you can come from below and then jump up through the platform and then land on top of it when you're on your way down. To create the platform, we can go to the sprites and find the tiles here. And I'm simply going to use 13, 14, and 15 to create these. I'm going to take them one at a time and add them to the scene here. And this is simply going to be my platform. And I'm going to increase the size of them by selecting all of them and selecting 2. And then I'm going to make sure that they're placed correctly. We have this in the middle. We call this filler. And this is the left side, call this left, and this is the right side. And we can just place them very close to each other, like so. I don't know if it's a little too large. Actually, let's call this a medium platform. So this is our medium platform. So we can click and create empty, and call it medium platform. And then we can take left, filler, and right and put them in the middle. So this is a medium platform. Let's just move it out of the way here. Then we can duplicate the medium platform and place it underneath here, and then rename it to small platform. And inside the small platform, let's just move it away so it's not on top of the medium. We can delete the filler and move the right towards the left. So this is a small platform. So now we have a medium platform and a small platform. And we can move a little down here. So the point of this is that the player should be able to stand in front of the platform, jump up, then land on the platform here. So it needs to go a little down so the player can land on it. And of course we'll need to change the layer. So right now the player is in layer 0, so left and right should be in -1. And the same goes for the medium platform. Everything inside the medium platform should be in -1 order in layer, so that the player can walk in front of them, as you can see here. Now the player will stand in front of them and he should be able to jump up and then land on top of them. This one now. Okay. So to do this, we'll have to add 2 colliders to the platform. One collider for standing on and another collider for making sure that we can jump through the main collider. So we click on the medium platform, and on that we click, actually let's do it with the small one first. Click on the small one and then add component, and then select a box collider 2D. Just search for box and then right click on the box collider 2D. So this box collider is going to be our place to land. So when the player lands on the platform, he'll need to land on this box collider. So to make it easier for ourselves, just click on the background and disable it for now, so that we can see the box collider here easier without any green background interfering here. First of all, we'll need to set the offset so that it's in the middle of the platform. The Y offset can move that a little up, and then we can set the size of Y a little down. This doesn't need to be very thick. Just move it a little up then. There we go. Just need to take up the space, about the space of the green stuff on it. So just adjust it so that it kind of aligns with the light green area here and the darker green area here. So these 2 colors. Then we will have to set the size of the X, and it just needs to go about to the edges of the platform here. Let's see. Maybe a little further out. That was the offset, that's not the size. Yeah, there we go. So now it basically goes to the edge of the platform here. It's fine. So this is the collider that the player will land on. So if we took the player here and move him up here, he will be able to fall down and land on the platform right now. As you can see, now he landed on it. But he's not able to run through it. As you can see here, the platform is blocking his path. So we'll have to make sure that it ignores the player's collider when he is when he's in front of it and when he's below it and everything. So we need to make sure that we can only land on the platform when we come from up top and down on it. So we'll have to add one more collider. Click on the small platform here, and basically you can, I don't know if you can duplicate, nope, just add component, add a box collider 2D, then take the first component and copy component and right click on the collider 2D, the new one, and paste as paste values here. Now we have two colliders on top of each other. Then you'll have to take and set this one, the new one, as trigger. You have to move it a little down, so it's just below the original one. And when you have done that, so it's below the original one, just make it a little wider, so it goes over the edges of the sides of the original one here. So it's like, the original one is up here and the new one is down here. So it's just below the original one and over the edges of the side and the bottom of the original one here. Okay. When you have done that, we need to add a script to the platform. So go to your scripts folder, right click, click create, select the C# script, and we can call this collision trigger. And when you have created that script, we can add it to our platform, small platform here, and then double click on it to open up the script. So when the script is open, we'll have to create two colliders, because we'll need a reference to our own collider and we'll need a reference to the player's collider so that we can access it. First of all, we can make a public, or actually let's just make it private so we don't need to set it in every single script. A private box collider 2D, and we can call this player collider. So this is the player collider. Then we can make a public, let's just make it private box collider 2D and call it platform collider. And we can serialize this one. There we go. So we can see it in the inspector. So first of all, we'll need a reference to the player's collider here. So in start, we can say player collider equals game object with capital G dot find player get component box collider 2D. So now we create a reference to the player's box collider here and store it in here. Besides that, we'll need to set the platform collider, and this is the collider that the player can stand on. So we'll have to say, click on the platform, go to the script here, platform collider. We'll have to take the collider up here that is not a trigger, the one that is not a trigger, which means the top one here, and move it down here and set it as the platform collider. So now we have a reference to the collider the player should land on. When we have done that, we need to say physics 2D dot ignore collision between the platform collider and the player collider, let's see here, and the get component box collider 2D. True. Okay. So what does this do? Yeah, first of all, we are ignoring the collision between our original, this one platform collider, and the trigger. But I think maybe this is not going to work because we are going to ignore collision between the two colliders here. So this collider doesn't collide with this collider. So to make sure that doesn't happen, we need to have a reference. And this is kind of random to say get component, because we might get the same collider. So let's just make another private box collider 2D and call it platform trigger. So let's take the platform trigger here. So now we are going to say that we are ignoring the collision between the platform collider and the platform trigger. So we are ignoring collision between this one and this one up here. So let's just jump into the script and make sure that it's serialized. This one, save. And then you take the trigger here and move it to the trigger position here. There we go. When you've done that, we can jump in here and then we should start to create the functionality. So we are going to remove the update, and here we're going to say void on trigger enter 2D collider 2D, not circle collider, but just collider other. Okay, so now we are on the trigger, on trigger enter. That's only the trigger down here. If the player enters that trigger, then we will need to make sure that he ignores the collision with this box collider, because as of right now he's here and he can't run through the platform. So we want to be able to run through this platform here. So we have to say if other dot game object dot tag or dot name actually equals player. So if it's the player that collides with the platform, when we enter the trigger, then we say physics 2D dot ignore collision platform collider player collider true. So now we are ignoring the collision between the platform collider and the player collider when the player enters the trigger. Let's try. So right now I can land on top of it, boom, and now I should be able to run through it. And as you can see, I can run past it here without any problems, but I'm not able to land on top of it anymore. And that's because that I'm not, what is it called? I'm not enabling the trigger one more time again. So we'll have to add some functionality for ontriggerexit. So underneath void ontriggerexit collider 2D other if other.gameObject.name equals player, well, then we say physics 2D. Basically, we can just copy paste this one up here with true and false instead, and then false. So then we stop the collision, ignore collision between the player and the platform. So let's see, save this, jump back into Unity, we can land on it, can go into it, we can jump up, and it's a little too high up. Let's try to move the platform a little down. There we go. Still land on it. Let's try here. Now we should be able to land on it. Let's see why that is not working. Let's have a look here. Okay, so the reason it's not working is because that I forgot to write 2D here. So it's of course on trigger exit 2D, not just on trigger exit. So let's try to save. Jump back in here. I can land on it. Let's try to run in front of it. Jump, and then I can land on it. Okay, so now we have one-way triggers for our platforms. So we can go on in front of a platform here and jump up through it and land on it afterwards. So what you can do now is to place the colliders and create some larger platforms. Basically, to create the medium platform, you can basically take the small one and make it larger, and then just put some fillers inside. So basically, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to take the small platform, duplicate it. I'm going to place it here, so we can jump from platform to platform. Something like this. to duplicate it one more time. So I have like 3 small platforms here. And then we have the medium platform at the end here, up top. So I can jump from this to this to this. Let's try to make this small platform, this first original small here. Maybe a little higher up. I don't know if it's too high. Let's try. Can I go under here and jump up, land on it, land on this, and land on this one. And as you can see up here, I'm going to fall through this one. That's because we haven't added the functionality to it. So basically you will have to do the same to the medium platform here, adding the colliders and putting in fillers. So I am going to end this part here, and in this part we are going to add the camera movement. So I don't think I need to show you how to make the medium platform, because you simply have to duplicate the small one. I'm showing it anyway. You have to duplicate the small platform here. Basically delete the medium, rename the small one to medium, and then take it out, and then in between here you take the left and right. This one, sorry, take the right here, move it out, go to the sprites, go to the tiles, find the middle part, add it in here underneath the medium, place it down here, as you can see, and you add it to 2, 2, 2, like the other one. Make sure that the order in layer is -1. Take it, move the medium a little more down so you can see. Then we move this one to the right. We move the middle, the filler, to the left. Right there. And we make sure they have the same Y value, which is 0. And then we take the right and move it in, just like this. So now we have the medium platform. We rename this to filler. And this is, sorry, not filler. We rename this to right. And we take the filler here and move it in between the left and right. So the only thing you need to do now is to take this, the collision, the colliders, and take the offset, X offset here, and move in. It's kind of in the middle. Take the X offset up here, move in, so it's kind of in the middle. And then you'll enlarge them, right? So that this one goes all the way to the sides almost. There we go, now it's almost at the sides. And then you take the other one down here and make it larger, so it goes over the edges of the one you can land on. And there you have it. Now you have a medium platform that you can land on like this, walk around on, and you can go under it and jump up and land. So that's what you need to do. You need to add the medium platform up here so that we can actually jump. Where's the medium here? We can jump from platform to platform up to the medium one up here. And then I'm going to add a very large platform up here that the player can jump here, 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 and then jump all the way up here to the large platform. So in the next video, when I play the next video, we will already be having all the platforms and everything set up for the game. And the next thing we are going to do is to add the camera movement so that it follows the player without going off screen, of course. So I hope that you'll manage to create the level by yourself by setting up the platform. We'll of course look at the different props we can put into the level, but for now you'll need to add the platforms by yourself. You can of course also put it up exactly as you want it. No one says that you have to do it the way I'm doing it at all. You can create your own level, you can customize it as you want, of course. But this was just an example of how you can create larger platforms, of course. Just for reference, to make it easier for yourself, create some prefabs of these. So go to your asset folder here, right click, click create, and select the folder and call it prefabs. And then take the platform, take a medium platform, move into prefabs, and take a small platform and move in here. So you have them, so you can just add them to the level just like this if you want to. Yeah. And by the way, remember to save your scene. If you haven't done it already, then go up and then say save scene so that you have it if you crash. Okay, that's it for this part. In the next part, we are going to have a look at the camera movement.